Welcome back. Today we've got a question from Brooklyn Hope. I want advice about what the right number of practice tests versus time sections per week is. This week, I've already taken 2 practice tests, and on the first, scored a 167 on my run through of the test and with blind review. I assume that means the same score twice. On the second, same score on blind review.
That makes
On the
sense. Like,
second,
didn't change after blind review.
yeah. On the second, I scored a 162, but I've yet to blind review. I spoke with 2 friends who've both taken the LSAT, scored well, and I trust, and they recommend very different things. Friend 1, try taking 3 practice tests per week at the beginning of this practice phase and gradually decrease to 2 when you are consistently getting the score you want. Wrong.
You
Okay.
already know my opinion on that.
Sorry. All respect to
no.
friend 1. All respect to
respecting
friend
them.
1.
I mean, I'm
Friend
trusting that
one,
somehow
we trust,
something worked out
we
for
love.
them.
Yeah, but wrong. Friend
I would
2,
not
start by
recommend
taking
this.
only 1 practice test and then doing time sections on days that you aren't testing. From there, slowly increase to 2 practice tests per week. Started out so good. Still better than friend 1. All right. Any advice on which approach would work better? Or maybe a third. That's
Yep.
my editorializing. I'm hoping to only need to take the test once and really, really want a 175 plus. Feeling incredibly nervous about this because the test feels so close and that score feels far away from my target. So I assume they mean the score that I'm getting right now. So any thoughts would be welcome.
Lots of thoughts.
I mean, lots of thoughts. I think, do you mind if I start?
Please start.
Okay. I think the first thing to tap into is just that, I mean, and this comes up on the LSAT, but it's like these are anecdotal experiences that you're going off of. We have the benefit of having seen a lot of people, probably thousands at this point.
Perhaps thousands.
I think almost certainly actually, it's not even a question. It's thousands. Like if you think
Let's
about
change
it,
our certainty of language.
No,
I'm
it's
100%
thousands.
certain that we've seen thousands.
I know the
Yeah.
unique number of users for live class on a week by week.
True.
It's probably above 10,000. Anyways, we've seen a lot of people study for the test. So what I would say is that, like, listen, there's not a one size fits all approach. What we have the benefit is of seeing this huge aggregate group of people and what works best. Now, are there going to be alterations that work for individuals? Certainly. But I wouldn't make the mistake as an individual of basing my plan off of what worked for another individual, unless I have like an extremely good reason for that, Um, and in this case, like, yeah, you have 2 friends who differed a little bit from what we'd recommend. I mean, one probably less so than the other, I think. But can it work? For sure. Like, and we're not very dogmatic. Like, we're going to tell you what we think is best and why we think it's best. Ultimately, like, people deviate from that and they still do well. But I would say to you, just because they're your friends, just because they scored well, doesn't mean that you should emulate them, to a T. I would advocate for a third way between the 2 friends, or maybe veered to the side of 2 friends. What do you think, Bailey? Take over. I'm
guessing
rambling.
we're going to say the same thing, honestly.
I'm sure we are.
I'm hoping. Let's see.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, in general, I
Let's write it
recommend
down and then
1 PT
compare.
a week. Okay, yeah, let's
That's so
write it-
crazy.
Perfect.
Because I just
Hold it up
wrote
at the same
down
time.
1 PT.
You did?
This is a sensitive document. I can't actually hold that up to the camera.
Okay, yeah, never ever share the secrets.
Yeah.
But no, exactly, no secret at all. 1 PT a week is a really good baseline. And honestly, as you first start out studying, you don't even necessarily have to do 1 PT a week. I think it depends a lot on what your overall timeline is. And I am curious what your overall timeline is, because you were saying that the LSAT is coming up soon, but didn't give us a testing date on the horizon. So not quite sure what that's looking like. But I guess as you get to maybe the 2-3 months leading up to your test, I think 1 PT a week is a really good habit to get into. Blind reviewing, thoroughly wrong answer journaling usually takes at least another day after that, if not 2. And then 2 to 4 full-time sections throughout the week. I'm not even making myself do a full-time section every single day. And also, it doesn't even have to be timed to the 35 minutes when you are easing into your studying. Like, I found it was really helpful to give myself 45-minute sections at first, then kind of taper it down. But there's plenty of different variations of things like that work. I think that a lot of it is making sure that you're realizing that if you go through that many PTs, especially at the beginning of your studying, that is a like quantity over quality sort of approach. And that is just not going to be helpful. Like quality over quantity. We want to be focusing on getting a lot of strong takeaways, understanding what to do better next time from the questions that we are approaching. And doing more PTs doesn't just magically increase your score. I wish it did. I went through phases where I don't even wish it did because that's really grueling mentally. But I went through phases where I tried that. So yeah, that's kind of my advice. And then also, it's not just doing full sections and full PTs, it's doing more targeted drills that are catered towards your weak points. I say doing 1 to 3 of those per day on top of whatever you're doing over the course of the week is really helpful. And of course, adding in some instruction of whatever type that might be, maybe core curriculum coming to classes, and just like getting your own questions answered when you have them. Thoughts? Any deviations? You're writing it down. I'm so excited.
Just it's so crazy because I said 1 PT per week.
1
It's
PT a
flipped.
week.
That's so
No,
crazy, and we didn't even consult
we
beforehand.
didn't even consult.
I'd say 2 max. Like, if you really,
Yeah,
really have to, you can do 2 a week, but I
right,
don't
to which
think you
I'm
have
like,
to.
"Why do you have to?" Exactly.
I've just learned that there's some people where it's like they're not gonna take no for an answer, so I'm like, "Alright, you can do 2,"
Yeah.
you know? But anyways, quality over quantity, rise over run. I don't really know what that means, but
Slope. That's
I
the
know it's
slope
slope. Yeah.
formula.
Yeah, for math.
Y
I know
equals
that.
mx plus b. What's that one?
Yeah. Uh, uh, it has to I don't know. Okay, anyways, that's our advice. Yeah, I would say 1 test per week. I think Bailey put it best. So why revisit it? Anyways, thank you so much for asking, Brooklyn. Yeah, thanks for
Best
reaching
of
out.
luck.